Hey guys, today we're going over how to solve the 4x4 Rubik's Cube. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you go into my 3x3 video and learn how to solve the 3x3 Rubik's Cube first, as it builds solid fundamentals for you to be able to incorporate it into any of the other Rubik's Cube, including the 4x4. The same algorithms and logic we use there, we will be using here. So first, the 4x4 is different than the 3x3 and the 2x2 in that you have to build the center first, that centerpiece first, before anything else. So what I'm referring to is in the 4x4, the centerpiece is comprised of 4 smaller squares, as you can see here. And so first thing you want to do is create the centerpieces for all of the faces. So the red, the white, the orange, and so on. So here our base is going to be the red face. So we want to start by building that red centerpiece. So we want to locate all the other red squares we see. Here I found one. And so you want to position it to line it up to where that red square will fit. And line up the layers so that the other red piece that is free can be lined up. And then once they're lined up, we rotate those 2 red pieces up, move them out of the way, so that then we can move that other red layer back and align them to create that red center. After that first initial base is built, you're going to want to grab a 3x3 or another Rubik's Cube to refer to the colors and where the colors are positioned relative to each other. So here I'm grabbing the 3x3 and I'm locating where each of the colors are so that I can build the centers according to wherever those colors should be positioned. And then repeat the process for the rest of the centers. Now for the final layer, here we can see we have the white and the orange. So you want to position the orange layer on the bottom face, and then on the other face, also position that orange layer on that bottom face. So essentially making sure that the colors are in the same layer. You move that bottom layer over, and then you rotate it so that that orange piece is on top. And then we can move that orange piece that we moved out of the way initially back to the left so that we can create that orange center and that white center. And as you can see, you have all the centers. And so now we can move on to creating the edges. This is another feature of the 4x4. Usually the edges are already created, but here we're going to need to essentially build them. So what you're going to look for are the respective edges that will fit into each other and create an edge piece. So for example, a piece that has red and yellow, you want to look for the other respective piece that has red and yellow, the only other one on the cube. Make sure that they're on the same face, lined up on opposite layers, and then find a third edge piece that is not already solved or not already created so that you can fit it into the edge that you will create. So essentially the logic is you're going to create an edge and then find another edge that is not already created to replace that aligned edge that we will create so that we don't mess up the edge that's already created. So here we line up the 2 pieces. We then move one of the edges to the other one by rotating the layers. We align them to create one edge. Then we move that edge out of the way by rotating the face that they create that edge on, replace that edge with another non-completed edge and rotate the edge back. Align the layers once again. So you're going to repeat this process for all the other edges. So once you have all the other layers, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you have only 2 edges left to complete. And so as we can see here, the bottom layer has the edges that we want to complete, and then the top layer has the edges that we want to complete. So you're going to perform the following algorithm, and this will create those 2 final edges. And now you have all of your edges completed. And so from here on out, we essentially solve the 4x4 like we would a 3x3. We want to create that red cross. So find all the red edges and align them to the red center and the respective color. So for example, find the red and blue edge and align it with the red center, and then align it with the blue center. Or the red and yellow and align it with the red center and the yellow center. And repeat this process for all the edges. Next, you're going to want to do the same for all the corners. Find those corners, and like the 3x3, fit them into their respective colors. So the red, blue, and yellow, you're going to want to find that corner and fit it into the respective corner. So make sure you move the piece out of the way, move it to the face that you will not be rotating, rotate the face up, slot that piece into the face, and then slot the piece back in so that you have your completed corner piece and aligned with all of its respective colors. Next, repeat this step for all the other corners. For a more simple insight into the logic of this, refer to the 3x3 video. Next, we're going to work on the edge pieces. So similar to the 3x3, you're going to want to find all of the edge pieces to create that second layer, or the second and third layers, place them on the top face or the top layer, and then figure out if that edge will go to the left or the right. Put it on the top layer and then align it with the respective center color, and then figure out if that piece will go to the left or the right, and then carry out the following algorithm. Repeat this for all of the rest of the edges that do not have the color orange. Once we have that second and third layer, create that top orange layer. First, we're going to see the R-shaped piece on the top face, and then carry out the following algorithm, which is the R or the minus sign algorithm. Next, you might see a cross shape or a fish shape on the top, and then carry out the following algorithm for the fish shape algorithm. Finally, you will have the completed orange face on the top. And next, as we can see here, we have one headlight. So we want to align those two edges to the respective color. Here it's blue, and then carry out the one headlight algorithm. Finally, we will arrive at the final algorithm, which is the multiple headlight algorithm. And then you're going to carry out the multiple headlight algorithm. And as you can see here, you have a completed 4x4 Rubik's Cube. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.